It's not possible, right? Yeah. Because of the ravages of sin, we are all subject to disease and death. And that is what we have been, but yet again, in God's mercies and grace, we are renewed in strength every day, right? And the Lord has given us a body that has the ability to recuperate from illness. And so we are going to talk about 10 counterattacks against disease. So these are our ways to get over disease. And God has given us all these tools in order to overcome, right? But before that, let's sing our theme song first. I was trying to put up the lyrics, but would you mind writing it in your notes about the lyrics, so I can recite, I can dictate to you the lyrics, and we'll sing it together. Okay? All right. So the first part of it says, "We are not our own. We are bought with a price." So let me repeat. We are not our own. We are bought with a price. And our bodies are a living sacrifice. And our bodies are a living sacrifice. They're the dwelling place of the Spirit of God. They're the dwelling place of the Spirit of God. May we glorify the Lord. Okay, let me repeat. We are not our own. We are bought with a price. What's the next? And our bodies are a living sacrifice. They're the dwelling place of the Spirit of God. So let's glorify the Lord. So let's glorify the Lord. Let's continue on. In our bodies, in our minds, what's the next? In our bodies, in our minds, in our spirits, may we glorify the Lord. Let me repeat that. In our bodies, in our minds, in our spirits, may we glorify the Lord. In our bodies, in our minds, in our spirits, may we glorify the Lord. What's the next one? I forgot. Okay.
You want me to
Yes. In our spirits, in our mind. Yes, may we glorify the Lord. Okay, we'll complete that. Bodies are a living sacrifice. They're the dwelling place of the Spirit of God. So let's glorify the Lord in our bodies, in our minds, in our spirits. May we glorify the Lord. In the way we live, in the way we live, in the okay. Let me do it again. With a price, are a living sacrifice. They're the dwelling place of the Spirit of Christ. So let's glorify the Lord in our bodies, in our minds, in our spirits. May we glorify the Lord in the way we live, in the praise we give. May we glorify the Lord. In the way we live, in the praise we give. In the way we live, in the praise we give, may we glorify the Lord. Okay, let's try it with the piano. Let's try it. In our minds, in our spirits, may we glorify the Lord in the way we live, in the praise we give. May we glorify the Lord. Let's try it. Okay. Alright, let's go. We are not our own, we are bought with a price, and our bodies are a living sacrifice. They're the dwelling place of the Spirit of Christ. So let's glorify spirits, may we glorify the Lord. In the way we live, in the praise we give, may we glorify the Lord. We'll go back to that song. Thank you so much, Sister Susan. We'll go back to it, and then we'll do first our lecture. It hanged up again. Could you just touch again the downstream on it? The down arrow. Okay, just a minute. Sickness in any way, right? Now, why are we still here if we got sick previously? Why do you think are we able to get over those sickness, those types of illnesses?
Our body's immune system fights them.
Yes, our body's immune system is able to fight against those disease-causing microorganisms. So that there is a built-in mechanism, built-in system of the body that the body is able to get well, get back to normal, in other words. In fact, if you look at the word disease, dis-ease, meaning to say that there is a disarray, there is an imbalance that took place during the time that we got sick. And that imbalance would go back to what? To balance, right? And the body has that built-in mechanism. God, in His mercy and grace, put that mechanism and that system in order for the body, for us to bring it back to health. Now, there are conditions that I put there. As long as what? We support the body's immune response with what again?
Proper nutrition.
Proper nutrition and other factors that boost the immune system. Now you are blessed here. Why? Because you have cold water. You have cold water. Make use of that cold water. And in contrast, you also have hot water. In the Philippines, we have springs. We have a lot of springs, especially that part where I did my academic training. We call it University of the Philippines in Los Baños. You know what is Baños?
Baños.
Baños,
Yes.
bathrooms,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Bathrooms. There are a lot of bathrooms in that city because there are a lot of springs. Bathrooms.
Yeah.
So we call it Los Baños, a lot of springs that you can take a bath
Okay.
from the natural source.
Oh.
Okay?
That's from water, spring water that
The
is coming.
spring water
That coming from down.
The mountain.
from the mountain, yes.
Yeah.
And we have some waterfalls there, springs,
Yeah.
and that city has been so blessed.
Yes.
But people don't know how to use this contrast between hot and cold. Now I'm telling you, one factor to support the immune system is not only proper nutrition, but there are other factors, including the proper use of hot and cold water. So that when you take a bath in the morning, you can have your body acclimatized to the hot first, and then You seal it with very cold water, icy cold water that you will shiver. And if you shiver, that means that your body is responding well, that your immune system will be much better. And I had my cold shower as well this morning. Hot first, and then cold. If you can do a contrast shower of hot and cold for 7 times, how many times did Naaman?
7.
Did? 7 times. And that this same principle is what we are using among our clients who are sick, whatever sickness, including cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, or whatever. Part of our healing ministry is to help them make use of water. Okay?
You
Water
do that
therapy.
7 times in the same shower?
Yes, in the same shower, so you can just set it to hot and then cold, hot, cold, hot, cold for 7 cycles. And that you will stay in the cold for about a minute or even more for 3 minutes, and that is the last one that you will have to enjoy. Shiver, 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 and you will feel good after that.
I know. And that's the last one.
That's the very last
the
one.
last one. Yeah.
Yeah, you stay in it on those first 6 cycles, you do first about 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, if you can go up to 1 minute. But the very last cycle, you stay in 1 minute for hot and 3 minutes
Cold.
for cold.
Oh, yeah.
Icy cold. Okay, make use of that, and that's a blessing. And there will be more that we will deal with. Let's go. All right, so there are 10 helpful practical key points on boosting our immune response, making use of God's gift in the human body. Let's look into it. The first one. First, for us to understand, the first key point is that the immune system is our major defense mechanism from disease. So what is this immune system? It involves a family of body cells. And these are special types of body cells. And they are very specific. Okay? Primarily, we generally call them as white blood cells. But yet there are also tissues and organs that are dedicated to work together in fighting against the invaders that attack the body. We call these invaders generally as foreign materials. That includes the viruses, bacteria that are disease-causing. We call them as pathogens, generally. Parasites, even some disease-causing fungi, but the mushroom that we are eating is an edible one. But there are very microscopic fungi that would cause skin diseases in the body.
Yeah.
And those are the things that we are subject to on a daily basis.
Wow.
You may think that even if maybe you have cleaned this table, for example, in the next few minutes you will have bacteria again. You will have viruses again. So there is nothing that is totally clean. Yes. You always have your body exposed to these microorganisms. But then, as I said, the body has given, God has given our bodies that innate ability to fight against disease. So they gain entry into the body through the mouth, okay, through the nose, through the eyes, and through the injured skin. If we eat, when we had our food, the food is not totally immune from disease-causing microorganisms. There may still be some bacteria there, viruses even if you cook it. But you eat it, and it will not do any harm to you because the body has been given this ability to fight. You sniff the air, you breathe in. You may think that the air that you are breathing is pure and clean, but no, the viruses are there, the bacteria are there, there are airborne microorganisms. But we don't get sick. Why? Because of our immune system. Okay? They may also be introduced into the body through scratches, bruises, through the skin. But the body has the ability to do its work. In fact, we are exposed to any of these invaders. Yes, I said it, but we do not get sick once we develop. Give me the word. Highly efficient immune response. The body could exterminate them either in a non-specific or specific way through our 3 lines of defense mechanisms. So in our immune system, there are 3 lines of defense mechanism. And of these 3 lines of defense mechanism, 2 of them are what we call non-specific ways to defend our bodies. And the third one, which is the ultimate mechanism, is the one which is specific. Okay? So it will, first you have the first 2 lines of defenses as non-specific, which means that they work on a general manner. And the third one is a specific way. And we will go into that. So the first line of defense, let's just look into the first line of defense. The purpose of this first line of defense is to prevent the entry of these disease-causing microorganisms. Can we say that again? The first line of defense is dedicated to prevent the entry of these disease-causing microorganisms. So what does this defense mechanism include? It includes the mucous linings along the digestive tract, respiratory passages, and also your skin, my skin. That's why we have skin that is exposed to the external environment primarily to protect us from disease. Okay? Again, if that skin is bruised or it's not healthy, that could be a port of entry for these microorganisms to invade the body. That's why for good health, you have to start with a healthy skin. Healthy mucous linings. If you have bruises, sores on your mouth, you have to address them first because those are entry points for microorganisms to invade the body. If you have ulcers in the stomach, so we have stomach ulcers. If you have ulcers in the duodenum, that part of the small intestines, you have to take care of those first because those are entry points for these microorganisms to invade the body. If you have some bruises on the inner part of the nose, you have to take care of them. So mouth sores and others of those. So these are parts of the body that are lined with membranes. Those are very thin membranes, though thin, but yet they prevent the entry of these microorganisms. You may swallow them through the food that you eat, but then in the stomach, there are mucus linings there. You may breathe in microorganisms, but God has already taken care of those ones, because the mucus linings, they are called mucus linings, they produce mucus so that those microorganisms will be trapped. They are trapped there. And if you have runny nose, don't worry about runny nose. That's the way by which the body is able to move out those trapped microorganisms. The runny nose, that's mucus that have trapped those microorganisms. And here in the trachea, that windpipe as we call it, before it gets to the lungs, those are lined, the mucus linings are actually have cilia. Those are hair-like projections on the walls that will sweep out those mucus with trapped microorganisms there. And so if you have runny nose, don't worry, don't go get any medications over the counter, because if you do that, those cilia will be paralyzed and they can no longer move out those microorganisms. If you have phlegm, don't worry about the phlegm, because that's a buildup of mucus that has trapped microorganisms, and the body is getting rid of them. So what do? Instead of getting those suppressing medications, you just drink a lot of water. That's what we call supportive treatment. Drink a lot of water, take some rest, have a good sleep, have nutritious food, and you are aiding the body to prevent the entry of all this disease-causing microorganisms. So the mucus linings, the skin, that's the first line of defense. Take good care of the first. Let's move on to the second. All right, now, the second line of defense is to prevent the spread. Okay? Again, let's take note that the first line of defense prevents the entry. The second line of defense prevents the spread. So for example, if you have a bruised skin, so the entry has already been opened, right? So the microorganism is bruised, and the first line of defense has already been broken, right? Now, what does the body do when the entry has been broken, has been opened?
Tries to heal it.
It has to heal, yes. So the second line of defense will have to prevent it to spread to other parts of the body. What do you observe if you are bruised? There will be, what's the response of the body?
Black and blue.
Okay, blood clot, yes. There will be inflammation, yes. There will be swelling, and the temperature there is much higher than the temperature of other parts of the body. That's the work of the second line of defense. When you see that there is swelling, that's not a problem. because the body is doing its work. The second line of defense is doing its work. So that allow the swelling to go, to do its course of starting the healing process. Okay? Now you can assist the swelling by probably applying a cold compress first. Okay? Not the hot compress, but the cold compress first. Or if there would be oozing of blood, then probably you can just put direct pressure onto it. Or if you cannot control it by direct pressure, if you are skillful to do apply some tourniquet to prevent it from oozing so much blood, especially when an artery is severe, because it will spurt out a lot of blood. Okay? If it is even flowing, then probably a vein has been severe. Okay? But allow the inflammation to take place so that the body will start doing its course of healing. Okay? Again, you can assist it by putting in some maybe first home remedies. You can apply some extracts of leaves, any green leafy vegetable that you have in your refrigerator. Wash those green leafy vegetables, just pound them and then get the extract and then just apply directly on the bruise. And that will assist the body to get over it. But you see, there are special cells that you find there in order to cause the body to confine those microorganisms that may have gained entry there just within that area. It will not spread to other parts of the body. Okay? So there are what we call inflammatory chemicals. Let's see the next slide. There are inflammatory chemicals there that would do their course. Now, the third line of defense, for example, if the inflammation will persist beyond 3 days, there is a possibility that some of these microorganisms have started going systemic, as we call it. They may have gone down to the blood system, and they may start spreading to the other parts of the body. So they have passed the second line of defense. But then, in the third line of defense, this is now very specific. So what it does is then, it will activate some specific white blood cells. In the second line of defense, there are also white blood cells there that would act in a non-specific way. Some of them will just simply engulf or eat up those microorganisms. Okay? Now in the third line of defense, there would be an overlap of the functions, such that while the third line of defense is activated, the second line of defense is still active in doing its work by still engulfing or eating up those microorganisms. But this time, there are killer cells there that are very specific. We call this as the T lymphocytes, the natural killer cells. And then we also have you heard of the B cells? Yes, there are B cells. They are the ones that would produce antibodies. And these antibodies that are produced by the B cells are the ones that would immobilize or tag those specific invaders. Those microorganisms are tagged by these antibodies, very specific antibodies, that are produced by the B cells. They immobilize them, they tag them. It's just like if you imagine a criminal and it was caught by a policeman, what will the policeman do? Handcuff. Yes. Handcuff. What's the purpose of handcuffing?
prevent.
I can't resist.
Yes.
Yes.
To prevent the criminal, the outlaw,
Yeah.
to do something that is even worse, right?
Yeah.
To immobilize them. Why do we put them in a prison cell? To immobilize them.
Yes.
The third line of defense would also do that. Immobilize those invaders.
Yeah.
And that as they are immobilized, now that's the time when the T cells, those killer cells, will now kill them, attack them. So the antibodies' work is to immobilize, is to tag them, or have them be put together such that when the T lymphocytes, specifically the killer cells, will find them, they will attack them and kill them by making them just lies. They will just break. Those invaders will just break, and then they would be neutralized. Very beautiful. If you only could watch how they do, you would be amazed that there is God who cares. There is God who cares. That even if we are subject to all this, there is that system that already God has already put in there even before we were born. And they just developed there through time. You see, the third line of defense will develop through time as we are exposed more and more to different types of microorganisms, whatever microorganism, COVID-19, viruses, and some others. And there will be much more strains of the COVID that may come, because every season they mutate and they become different forms. But yet, however enormous would that be, as long as we support our immune system. With what, again?
Immune system.
Proper nutrition and the factors that will boost our immune system. Okay? Now let's look into the next slide. The second, develop your immune response through proper nutrition and other key factors, is starting from the mother's womb. What does this mean? That pregnant women should see to it that they take proper nutrition, because the baby develops its immune system starting from the womb. So if you have your own children, your daughters who are going to get married or who are already married, have them understand that proper nutrition is imperative while they were growing up to be mothers soon. It's important for them to what? Take care of their bodies. Mrs. White even tells us that before the baby is born, 20 years before the baby is born, the mother has already developed helpful habits. Okay? Or even longer. Why 20 years? Because usually our children may get married in their 20s, early 20s. We got married, I married my wife when she was 25 years, and I was 30 years old that time. And before we had our first baby, we had to make sure that we maintain our health, because we know really well that if we are going to have our babies, we make sure that they are going to be healthy by taking care of our bodies. The next slide. All right, so what is this proper nutrition that we are talking about? This is including partaking of well-balanced meals of whole vegetables, fruits, grains, nuts, and legumes, because you find these health-giving nutrients such as vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, and water. Now here, take note of the word well-balanced. Well-balanced. It means that if you are eating fruits, see to it that they are eaten at the right time, the proper amount, proper combination. So this is not maybe a common knowledge. A common knowledge is eat fruits and vegetables, grains, nuts, and seeds. That's very common, right? You have heard many health professionals who would say, oh, you just have to eat more fruits, more vegetables. But then others are just not able to do it properly. When should I eat my fruits? And what combination should I go? Because, you know, I'm diabetic, I have hypertension, and so on and so forth. So what fruits should I eat? Okay?
Doctor, you know, I have my friend, somebody told that one, he eat just fruits. No potato, no nuts, no grain, just fruit. After 2 months, she eat just fruit, and after she got really sick, she cannot sleep. And after she has depression. And then it was completely, and I said, I think because you drastically, you change completely just fruit, and that is was, you know, the metabolism react, and then that is one of the reactions.
And it's good you mentioned that, Sister Meridel, because there are people who have decided to do some changes, but yet they don't properly do the transition. Okay, and that one that you mentioned is wanted to shift to a fruitarian eating habit. There are fruitarians that are, they said that, yeah, God gave in the original diet the fruits. So they shift to being fruitarian abruptly. And the response of the body is that you develop what we call withdrawal syndrome.
Yes.
Withdrawal from what they used to do, now they abruptly change, and then the body reacts with those withdrawal syndrome. Now, if you don't know how to do it, consult professionals. We are here to help. As God has given us the opportunity to better understand how it is, then we are here. That's the reason why we are here, because we would like to help people transition where they are and to maintain their diet and lifestyle. And that's our purpose, why we have come here, to help you get to the level where you can better enjoy your food. So there is what we call proper combination, proper timing in eating all these fruits, vegetables, grains, and nuts. Proper combination, and so on, depending where you are. If you are starting with something else, if you have been bloating and things like that, then we can start where you are. We can give you a plan so that from there you can get better. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. You would say, okay, just eat fruits and vegetables. What fruits? Because I'm diabetic. Something like that. So people don't know. What fruits? Because I have problems with my bone. There are just things that you may consider. Okay. You need to properly do it. And we are here to help. Let's go to the next slide. All right, the third one. This is very important. Fruits and vegetables, grains and nuts are good. But I would like to point out here, the third is for us to eat raw, whole foods that provide antioxidant vitamins C, E, B6, A, and T for immune support. We call this as antioxidant vitamins. Now, why raw? Your key term there is raw. Why raw? Why not jams, jellies? They are fruits anyway. Fruit jam is fruit, right? Apple pie is an apple. It's a fruit.
Full of sugar.
Okay, yes. Full of sugar, and that you cooked those fruits.
Yeah.
You cooked them. You destroyed practically all the vitamin C already. And vitamin C is central to healing. And if it is central to healing, don't destroy the vitamin C, even the slightest heat. Okay? Another thing is, if you are going to harvest your own fruits, some of you may have your own fruit trees in your backyard. When do you harvest your fruits or vegetables?
It is ready.
When they are ready? Yes, when they are ripe.
Yeah.
And what time of the day?
The morning.
In the morning. In the morning. Not when the sun is up. Not when the time when the fruits were subject to the heat of the sun. Okay? Because the vitamin C will no longer be there when you harvest them at noonday. At noontime. Because they have already been destroyed. Now, by God's mercy and grace again, when the night comes, the fruit will restore its vitamin C. Because that's the time when the process is going to be completed again, so that in the morning you will have freshly made vitamin C. Beautiful. That's why God said, renew yourself every morning. Because I have renewed all these nutrients that you have eat fresh in the morning. When God gave the manna, when do they gather?
In the morning.
In the morning. In the morning. And if they go gather at 10 or 11 or at noon, they are gone. They have melted. The same thing with the nutrient-giving, health-giving nutrients in fruits and vegetables. Gather them in the morning.
What about harvesting in the night? It's okay.
Harvesting in the night is not the same as harvesting in the morning. Because the vegetables and fruits have already been heated up during the day. And then you cannot just, God doesn't restore at night. I mean, towards the end of the day. But He gives them during the night. He prepares. And then in the morning, you should be ready to gather. Beautiful, right? Did anyone tell you about this before? You don't read this in the
I
books.
was telling Sister Berta, my husband always plant beans, tomato, okra, and he always said, we need to harvest in the morning. But I didn't know why, but I do. You know, okay, I just follow him. But now I know
Yes,
why.
yes. And to be much more technical, I would say here. In biology, there is a topic that we discuss. And we call this as photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Photo means what? Light. And synthesis is putting all these things together. And in that process, the sunlight will shine upon the leaves of the plants. Okay? That's sunlight. And those photons of light will activate the system in the plant that are found in the green pigment, okay, in green leaves, so that when the sun shines upon them, they're activated and they start the process of making use of water and carbon dioxide. They put them together so that they become food. Okay? Now, along with that process, there would be vitamins that are put together as well. They are made during the time when photosynthesis takes place. But they are completed at night. So in the photosynthetic process, there is what we call light process, okay? And then there is also dark process. We call it as light reaction and the dark reaction. And the dark reaction takes place during the night. That's why it's called dark reaction. Because everything that has started in the morning, they are completed at night. So that when it's complete, when the morning comes, you gather them. And those are the health-giving nutrients that you put into your body. Beautiful, right? And thus, the God who created all these things have this what we call circadian rhythm. Circa means cycle. Dia means 24 days, 1 day, right? Now, as the body orchestrates, God has orchestrated all these things, when you eat the fruits in the morning, the body has already been prepared by the Lord by activating your organs to be able to receive them. So there is also what we call circadian rhythm in the body, wherein these organs are active at a particular time of the day, like the pancreas that I mentioned. It's active in the morning so as to get the body be ready to receive the fruits and the nutrients that you get from fruits. And then after the day is gone, the next hormone that comes would be your melatonin for you to be able to sleep. And that's the one that is activated. The pineal gland at the back of your head, of your brain, is going to be active at the time when your insulin level is low, and then the pineal gland will now be active to produce the melatonin, that sleep hormone that you need in order for you to have restorative sleep. And at that time, that part of the brain, we call it hypothalamus, that time is when you are deeply asleep. That's the time also that God made it so to be active in order to release those hormones that would restore the body back to normal. And you will be ready fresh in the morning to do your activities again. Beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Sister?
Yeah, I have a question because you said that the plants or vegetables that are harvested in the morning is the best. How do you know when you go to the market whether they harvest it in the day or night? Are you just ask them to do that? Or
You know, we are advised, even in the writings of Mrs. White, for us to plant our own vegetables. We may start with herbs, okay? Herbs. Do you know how to plant cilantro? Let's start with cilantro. let's start with all other herbs. Those that you may get fresh. That every time you cook, you just go get them, gather them. Start with the herbs. Okay? And then after that, you can start with vegetables. If you don't have a space, here in Arkansas, I could see that there are a lot of spaces for you to plant, right? A lot of space. But maybe because of the temperatures that would go very low, you cannot plant so much moringa. All right. But in our place in South Texas, we can plant the whole year round. Okay?
So there is,
But
just a little bit. So there is a law in that, process that you mentioned, from harvesting, from planting to harvesting. There is a law of God there that is happening, and then we did not know. I don't know, maybe because we thought that we already knew everything. And then Ellen White has something, I don't know where you read. I hope you have got some papers or some, things for us to take away, so we won't forget those things.
yes, that's a very good point, sister. So I will be sending out some handouts through Pastor Herson, Pastor Tumolba, that I will be sending to him handouts so that you will not forget. Okay? And he will be sending to your emails, or you can make copies actually. You can photocopy them, and that you will not forget. Okay? Yes. So God has laws in each organism. So He put there some mechanisms to guide these plants, these organisms, so that they will grow and humans could be benefited. Okay. Let's move on to the next slide. Oh yeah, before we go here, let me emphasize also that aside from the vitamin C, we have B6 there. B6 is also one of the antioxidant vitamins that are produced by the plants every day on a daily basis. Okay? The vitamin C and the B vitamins will not be there for long, even in plants. They will be synthesized, they will be made for the day, and then they will be destroyed as the sun will hit them up, and then they will be made again in the night, during the night, and then they will be available again in the morning. Okay? Vitamin C and all the B vitamins, including folic acid, thiamine, riboflavin, B2, B6, and all those B vitamins, they would be made for you in the morning, and then because of the heat of the sun, some of them may be destroyed, and then they will be made again.
Just like the manna.
Yes, just like the manna. Yes.
So it's best to eat them in the daytime.
In the morning, yes.
Fresh.
Eat them in the morning, especially the fruits. And then also here, the body cannot store the vitamin C. The body cannot store the B vitamins as well, because God wants us to eat them every day. Every day. You cannot store vitamin C. You cannot store the B vitamins. You cannot store the folic acid. You cannot store all those. You have to eat them every day, which means God made it so that our main food would be fruits and vegetables. You get them?
Yes.
Yes.
You don't need to buy vitamin C
No need, because there is a problem there with the vitamin C that you get from pill form. There is a problem there. It cannot store, at the same time it cannot readily absorb. You need high dosages of vitamin C. Have you seen those 1,000 international units? We have 10,000 international units, and so on and so forth, because the body can absorb only just a little amount of vitamin C from those in pill form. Compare that, it can absorb only up to 7% of that. 3 to 7%, barely. So you need to have high doses of vitamin C from them. Compare that to fresh fruits when eaten in the morning. You can get 90 to 97% of vitamin C absorbed pretty well in the body and metabolized by the body. Did you ever hear that before? So,
normally, doctor, in the hospital, the doctors, they tell you need to drink vitamin C, But when I was pregnant with the tea, I never drink any, even the pregnancy, but I never. Because I'm at the house and I eat it every day, fruits and vegetables, and I saw my 3 kids, they born without any problem.
Any problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's good you mentioned that, because unfortunately, I have a good respect of health professionals. My 2 brothers-in-law are physicians. One is a surgeon and one is a family physician. And the wife of my other brother-in-law, who is a surgeon, is married to an internist as well. So I have a good respect among health professionals. And I'm surrounded with nurses. My mother-in-law is a nurse, my wife is a registered nurse, my daughter is also a registered nurse. I'm surrounded with nurses. My family and others, yes, many of them are in the healthcare professions. But may I ask you, have you been taught of these things that I'm discussing with you?
No, not really.
No. Yeah. So then, there is science that science that we need to understand, because science is not at all bad. That's why my background in science gives me a training that I am giving out to people, to churches. Because you see, God made science.
Absolutely.
God made nature. And science is the one that discovers what are these things happening in nature. If we discuss photosynthesis, if we discuss how the body makes its own proteins and lipids, yes, my training allowed me to understand all those, and I readily simplify all those things. But unfortunately, many of these medical professionals may not have been taught, or they may have forgotten, because they have specialized on surgery, specialized on where their expertise is. They may have forgotten how these things would relate to good health. Yes, sister.
What's the best way to get your complete protein that you need if you're not eating meat?
Very good question. You see, one of the things that I did way back in 2015 was to address an international audience of biochemists, molecular biologists, molecular geneticists all over the world. And that was one basic thing that they asked. They said, where will we get complete protein. And some of those nutritionists who were there said, we get complete protein from meat. And everybody of them agreed. And I was there in front of them discussing vegan nutrition. Okay? And then I asked them, yes, Mr. or Mrs. Scientist, you know, we know that meat has complete protein. But may I ask you, how did this complete protein get into the animal systems?
Through vegetables.
The grass.
Yes.
They ate the grass.
The lousy grass.
They got it from where? From grains. They got from grass. They got from green leafy vegetables. That's why it's complete. They have essential and non-essential amino acids are as the main components of the proteins. Now for us humans, we are just like the animals that make our own protein. We make our own protein. That's why we study in biochemistry protein synthesis. Plants make their own proteins. We make our own proteins. And these proteins are of different types, you know. And they are made of amino acids. Now classify these amino acids into essential and non-essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are made by plants. Animals cannot make essential amino acids. And I repeat, essential amino acids are made only by plants. Animals cannot make essential amino acids. And that's what I asked from those scientists who attended. And everybody agreed on my statement that plants could not make essential amino acids. Because not in this world could they show how animals make essential amino acids. Even if you exhaust all those biochemical pathways there, show all of those, they cannot show in any of these steps how animal systems could make essential amino acids. But they show only in plant systems where they make their own essential amino acids. Now, if you supply your food, if you supply your body through the food with essential amino acids from plants, from green leafy vegetables including moringa, spinach, collard greens, kale, cilantro, and all those greens, they have essential amino acids. Those lentils, those beans, those are the ones that supply us with essential amino acids. Now, what does the body do with those essential amino acids? If you look at how the body will make them in a biochemical pathway, those essential amino acids are used as raw materials in making non-essential amino acids. Beautiful. And then when the body would then make its own proteins, it uses those essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids as they are going to be put together to make special types of proteins for the body to make use. So then the question is, where are we going to get our complete proteins? We would essentially need essential amino acids from plants. So that if we put them into our bodies through the food that we eat, our bodies know exactly how much proteins to make. Okay? Yes.
Doctor, always I heard about the many. They say when you are more than 50, you need to eat supplements, and then so that one they need to do it, or just eating healthy is. That is my question.
Yeah, very good, Sister Maribel. May I ask my wife, did you see me take vitamin or mineral supplements? Not all the time. Okay. No, we don't actually buy supplements. When my wife tells me to, because she was trained as a nurse, okay, I was trained as a biologist, I was trained as a geneticist and a nutritional biochemist. And I tell her, no, I don't need those ones. I'm almost 59. I will be celebrating my 59th birthday. And even if I will reach my 70s or 80s, I think I will not need any of these supplements. Because if I eat well, of course, my digestive system will be less efficient, but it will be still efficient in a way that it could still process the food, the nutritional requirements that I would need. Okay? And I still feel strong. At times I feel sick as well, but then I give my body a chance to recover. I have been exposed to the viruses, in COVID-19 virus included. Probably I showed some symptoms, but the body was able to recover. Exposures after exposures. I talk to people, I interact with them. I have attended to COVID patients through the natural life, through natural wellness. I've been exposed. But you just give the body its chance to overcome. And the Lord will bless every effort, every commitment that you have, as long as you do the will of God. He will bless you.
I don't know if you know anything about, after COVID, my taste has changed, and it has never gone back to the same. My husband didn't have that, but my taste has completely changed. Nothing tastes the same anymore, and it's been a year and a half more. Is there anything to get your original taste back?
Yes. It could be reversed back to its original. Just assist your body to regain it now. In order to regain it much faster, you have to go back to basic tastes. Sour, natural sweets. Go back to basic tastes by using only the natural foods. The fruits in their natural form. That's why we are emphasizing here on raw, because they give you the basic flavors and taste of the food. Okay? Now, you may ask, so then everything is raw? Not everything is raw, but the fruits and vegetables should be eaten raw. The grains should be cooked. The beans and the lentils should be cooked. We cannot eat them raw unless you sprout them. You have mung sprouts, mung bean sprouts. You have bean sprouts, all those sprouts, if you don't want to cook them, sprout them. Okay? And you can eat the sprouts raw. Okay? They are even sweeter, more palatable, and so on. So to answer your question, go back to the basic nutrients. Don't cook the fruits, the vegetables. Don't cook, don't blanch, not even blanching of your sprouts. Don't blanch them. Because again, the slightest heat could destroy vitamin C and the B vitamins. Some vitamin E and vitamin A may survive the heat, but one thing good about vitamin E and vitamin A is that they can be stored in the liver, they can be stored in some organs of the body, and they can be used again and again. But for vitamin C, again, it's central to healing and good health. You have to supply the body with that. To restore the body, even with taste, with everything, you need centrally those that God will supply on a daily basis. What are those vitamins again that are supplied on a daily basis?
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C and
B.
the B vitamins.
B and C.
Okay? Vitamin C and all the B vitamins, they are supplied every day and renewed every day. Okay? Now let's go to the next slide. Let's go to the next slide. All right, now, vitamins E and D are found in almonds, peanuts, hazelnuts, sunflower seeds, spinach, broccoli. Primarily, you get them from seeds and nuts. Vitamin B6, you get them from bananas, avocados, potatoes, chickpeas, and some others. Now, we are concentrating on this, although there are some more vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients that you get from them, but we focus on this because these are antioxidant vitamins. We are focusing on antioxidant vitamins, meaning to say that these are going to help you get over those toxic substances that are produced by the body itself because of products of metabolism. And those free radicals that are produced there, they are neutralized by the assistance of these antioxidant vitamins. They are called antioxidant vitamins. Why? Because they go against or neutralize those oxidation byproducts. Okay? And they are produced on a daily basis in our bodies. Some of them will produce free radicals that could destroy the body and they accelerate the aging process. Aside from diseases, they accelerate the aging process. So that if you want to maintain your health and your stamina, your youthful looks included, even with your skin, the glowing skin, the shiny skin among children and younger individuals, you can maintain that with just eating the raw fruits and vegetables. Okay? You can maintain your stamina, your youthful energy.
How many bananas should you eat?
How many bananas could you eat?
Should you?
Should you eat? Yes. How many bananas? It depends also if you have diabetes. Okay, if you have diabetes, you can eat only one full banana per day. Okay.
But if you don't have?
But if you don't have, you can eat even up to 3 bananas. But again, eat them in the morning. Okay? And we will do that in our food preparation demonstration. We will show you how to prepare, okay? And to make plans, okay? Because there is a basic plan, but then again, it depends on your condition and your health goal. because we would like to learn more about your health goal before even saying you have to eat this and that. So we need to learn more about your condition.
Doctor, is it true that there are certain vegetables that you cannot eat raw because there are some chemicals in there that disappears when you cook them?
Yes. So there are chemicals that are phytochemicals that are released by cooking. So for example, you have tomatoes. Lycopene is more released at the time when you cook them. Okay? But cooking the tomatoes will lose all the vitamin C. Okay? No more vitamin C. So it depends on your purpose. If you are after the lycopene, you cook the tomato. But if you are after its healing properties with the vitamin C intact, you eat the tomatoes raw. I love tomatoes. Okay? I love tomatoes. So, you have to know your goal. You need to know your purpose. Now, practically you can eat all vegetables raw, but see to it that you eat them when they are young and tender. Eggplant, yes, you can eat them raw, but don't let them mature. What about okra? You can eat them raw. Don't let them mature. Zucchini, very much raw. You can eat it. What about, what is that, the one that we replaced for papayas, Mommy? Chayote. Chayote, sayote.
Or squash.
Squash, you can eat them raw. Whatever, as long as they are young. Even squash, any type of squash, as long as they are young and tender. That's why you don't find them in the market. So what do you do if you don't find them in the market?
You grow them yourself.
Grow them yourself. Yes.
It depends if we have complete teeth.
It depends when you have complete teeth as well. Yes. So that if you could hardly chew them,
Blend.
you can blend them. You can have the food processor to help you make them into smaller pieces. Okay. But even if you have no longer those premolars that would help you eat them, chew them, endeavor to still have some raw by making use of what technology has provided. You may blend them, but if you are able to chew them and enjoy them as you are chewing them, it's much better. Okay? But again, if you cannot do, then there are ways still how to do it. You can even pound them with mortar and pestle. Okay, pound them and then just eat them. If you don't have blender, I don't normally recommend blender in a normal way, but I would better recommend the mortar and pestle. Okay? Doctors before had that mortar and pestle during those ancient years. When somebody comes, he doesn't have those medicines in pill form, but he would have that mortar and pestle, gather the leaves and the plants, pound them, and then extract them and give them to their patients. Try looking into the history of medicine, and you will find it out. Okay? Let's move on. Carrots, the yellow foods, have high amounts of vitamin A. All the yellow foods. Even the green foods, green leafy vegetables, has high amounts of vitamin A. All right? All right, now, those antioxidant vitamins that we talked about, as I mentioned to you, will assist the body to get rid of those free radicals. There is what we call a system in the body wherein there is an enzyme system that would allow the white blood cells to do their work. Remember the white blood cells that I mentioned to you, those are immune cells. They are not able to efficiently do their work unless you have antioxidant vitamins. And these antioxidant vitamins would activate the enzyme systems in all these white blood cells in order for them to efficiently do their work. Now, aside from those, there are also some cofactors of those immune systems, such as iron, selenium, copper, zinc, and some other phytochemicals that you get from herbs, legumes, and some spices such as ginger, onions, garlic, turmeric, black peppers, although black peppers would be used only in small amounts, just pinches, okay? Pinches. If you pound the black pepper, you just get a pinch, okay? Because these ones are used only in trace amounts. Selenium, copper, zinc, you get them from herbs. That's why if you are sick, if you have upper respiratory tract infections, for example, even COVID, the first thing that I would recommend for them to drink is ginger tea, fresh ginger tea, okay? Because it has high copper and selenium, and then integrate those herbs. Okay. Now, what do these do? You see there the word cofactor? They would assist the enzyme systems in white blood cells and other immune cells so that they are able to do their work. All right? Next slide.
Excuse me, and what
Yes.
about the black pepper? I heard before that black pepper is very hard to get out of your body if you, yes, like you cannot digest it. So it's not good to eat black pepper because it will stay in your system. And they say if you want to eat something like pepper, use cayenne pepper.
Yes, very good point there. You see, God has provided us varieties of spices, right? But if in case in your place you have only black pepper available as to enhance the flavor of your food, then again you can only take a pinch of it to enhance the flavor and to get the selenium, the zinc, and the copper. Okay? But if you have other peppers, then get them from there. If you have turmeric that is available, and if you don't have turmeric and you have ginger, make use of the ginger. Whatever the Lord has provided for you, those are available in your area, make use of them. Just like in the Philippines, if I say apples. Apples are so expensive in the Philippines. If I say grapes or any other fruit that we are enjoying here, they would say, no, we cannot afford to have those apples. So what then are available in your area? If they have mangoes, they have bananas. Actually, the best fruits available in this world are those fruits coming from the tropical countries. Aratiles, yes. Yes, the wild grapes and all those. God has provided all this all throughout the world. even in the desert areas in Africa or somewhere else, there would still be some herbs, those that are just there. The cactus, the cacti, they are good sources of vitamin C. They are antioxidant, they have antioxidant vitamins. They have anti-cancer properties. In fact, the best anti-cancer vegetables are gathered from the desert areas, where they are subject to heat and cold day in and day out. They are the best ones. If you are in the coastal areas and what you have there are seaweeds, make use of the seaweeds. And the second most potent anti-cancer are coming from the deeper part of the ocean, like the sea grasses, the seaweeds, and all those. So whatever God has given you, those that are available, make use of them. Even those grasses that we don't know they may have medicinal properties, I'm actually using them among our clients. If they say, I have 3 immune diseases, we have helped one of our members in Edinburgh who had 3 immune diseases, okay? 3 immune diseases as a package. And the first time that I saw her, as if she would not be able to walk. She was just dragging her feet, just like walking as an old grandma. But she was only about in her early 60s. And she should still be very well and robust and what. But then we asked them, what's happening? So she described, and then I could hardly move. I have scleroderma, I have all these sores, myositis. And I said, you're very fortunate because God has given you all those sorts so that you could testify for Him. And now she is testifying about the goodness of the Lord, that after 10 to 12 weeks, not fully healed, but from in a scale of 1 to 10, she is now 9.5.
Wow.
From that condition wherein she was not feeling well, now she is testifying before others that God had healed her. Using those natural remedies. Using those herbs, those grasses that we don't even give importance. We thought that they are just good for animals. We are too, in our animal system, we are animals. And if those animals are able to survive with just grasses, why not humans? In the last days, we will be subject to probably going into desert areas or what. And you will need to have the wisdom from the Lord so as to know, will this be healing? Will this be a good food for me? Don't even worry. You will not need Dr. Tamayo to go there and assist you, because you will just have to ask and you will receive. Okay? You don't need to go through the training that I went through, because God will give you at the time when you will need it. So God has given us these varieties of fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts, herbs, wherever we are. So that let's make use of them as they are available.
I got a question.
Yes.
I look on the internet, and I have a thyroid problem, and they say some green, if you got to throw out of water, you can't eat it. Is that true?
Yes, you know, if you have thyroid problem, probably I would like to see, you can share me the results of your T3, T4 panel. I would like to see, yeah, you can share it with me so that I could see the levels.
I gotta get it.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta get it. I gotta get it.
Yeah.
I gotta get it.
He's wanting to know how he can get that. He doesn't know what his level is.
Okay, you don't know those levels. But anyway, I can ask you some questions if we will have some personal conversation later on, or maybe you can get my number so that we can talk by phone. And I would like to learn more about your condition so that from there we can identify vegetables and herbs that can help you. One thing about thyroid problems is that hypothyroidism, okay? If you have hypothyroidism, let's check what caused your hypothyroidism. If it is more of genetic or whatever, there could be some factors that have caused it. And then from there, if we are able to decipher based on our conversation, then we can help you. I don't know everything. I would like to admit that I don't know everything. But at the time that I'm conversing with people who are suffering, I will be given wisdom from the Lord at that time when I'm conversing with them. And the Lord Jesus himself did not say this is curable or incurable. This is hard, this is a complex situation, or this is an easy situation. He didn't have that. But people who came to him in faith, he healed them. And I believe that the Lord will still heal people, whatever condition you may have. That's my belief, and I don't have any doubt about it. Don't ever doubt that God will heal you.
I'm sorry. When I first got to that little problem, like a year ago, I felt real bad. But I don't anymore. I just felt real swelling in my neck. I don't feel as bad.
Yes. You know, pain is a blessing. Pain is a blessing. Why? Because it tells us that there is something wrong. Okay? Don't abhor the pain. But of course, the pain is unbearable. That at times, Lord, please help me bear the pain. Pain is a blessing. If I feel some pain at my back, Lord, thank you for letting me know that I have problems with my back, because probably I have eaten too much rice during the night, and white rice at that. That some of this white rice, especially if you eat them at high amounts during the night, it could inflame your system. Okay? And then I would resolve to do better in the morning. I would tell my wife, okay, don't cook rice at this time, and I'm going to eat only quinoa or something else. And those are the things. Pain is a blessing. God put it that way in order for us to know that there is something wrong that we have done, probably, or there is something wrong in the system that we ask God for wisdom how to get over it. Yes.
I'm sorry, just have a question. Have you been to a doctor for a general health checkup yearly? Do you still go?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so.
Yeah, I still go. But for the past three semesters, almost 2 years, that I have not been going to my doctor. Why? Because we no longer have health insurance. But I have an assurance. I have an assurance, although I don't have my health insurance for me and my family, but we have an assurance. Okay. Now, I go to the doctor only, not for treatment, but I go there for them to make some tests. If I'm still well, or if there are some lingering things that I don't know. Because you don't know. Maybe I have an anemia or what. I don't know. Maybe my triglyceride levels will be going high again. I don't know. So I go there for my regular checkup. So that if they say you have low vitamin D, what went wrong? So I know what to do. And if they say your triglyceride is high, and then what went wrong? What did I do? And then I review what I did in the past, and then I would resort to the matter. And again, ask the Lord for wisdom, and He will give it liberally to you. And wisdom is only imputed by God's Spirit. That's why He says, ask, and the Holy Spirit will be given to you. And so ask, and it shall be given you. Okay? Now, let's move on to the next slide. Number 4 is for us to totally avoid meats, processed foods, canned goods, cold foods, foods high in refined sugars, and foods that have high amounts of refined carbohydrates. What about those ones? If you can totally avoid them, the better. But if you still are eating any of these, if you are still partaking any of these, your goal is not to totally discard them at once. But you have to gradually take them out from your plate and then replace them again with the fruits, vegetables, grains, and nuts. Gradually. But there are instances here that I need to help our clients, our friends who come to us. We would say, from now on, don't ever touch these foods. For example, if they have stage 4 cancer, do you still give them meat?
No.
Tell them totally stop. If their hypertension is very high, if they are sustaining 140, 150 systolic level, do you still give them high-fat diet? You tell them stop right away. Don't tell them, okay, please remove those things gradually. No, we tell them stop right away, because if you don't stop eating those right away, you may not know. Your life may not even set in tomorrow.